Love me.
Matt Skraby wraps up a full day of live and local sports talk.
That is the whole problem with aliens. You just can't trust them. Occasionally you meet a nice one, but usually they turn out to be some kind of big lizard.
The Skraby Show starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
Hello and welcome into the Skraby Show for February 19th, 2026. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm just going to be honest. I feel like I'm about to sneeze. So if that happens, I'll be gone for a second. And it always happens at this point in time when I first start the show. So anyway, if you would like to watch the show, and just go to YouTube, search 97.3 The Fan, or search at The Skraby Show on YouTube. Also, Twitter at Matt Skraby and at 97.3 The Fan SD on X. And then also Facebook 97.3 The Fan. You know, I say that nearly every day and I completely forget each time, which I forget one of them each time. And if you want to listen on the Odyssey app, you can as well. Go to the Odyssey app, AUDACY, download it or click it and then search 97.3 The Fan. You'll be able to see the show or hear the show. Everybody's saying bless you on the chat about the sneeze. Thank you. I will keep that in mind as we go along because it might happen at some point, but I think I'll start the show with an update on Lucky, my dog, because last night I was telling everyone that I was freaking out because I left like one little light on for my guy. And I was imagining how scared he was. I was imagining how much he missed me. And so when I got home and I walked inside and I looked for him, he was sleeping. So he didn't really care at all. It didn't bother him at all. So he was fine. Everything was fine. He will be okay. But I did make sure I turned on a bunch of lights for him today. And also Dominic had a good point on the chat yesterday saying I need to get more like Wi-Fi lights. So I'm going to have to figure out how to do all that because I don't want to be in a position where my little guy is in the dark all by himself. And he's not little. He's like 90 pounds. Anyway, we are on the eve of Padres baseball. And I couldn't be more excited because I genuinely remember the first day after the Padres season where they lost to the Cubs and all of us were a little bit depressed. And it feels like baseball will never show up again. But baseball, it came fast this time. Like, it seems like years are just flying by. And now that baseball is underway, we're in kind of somewhat of a rhythm here. We got our clips that we can play from our guy, Sammy Lev. But we'll actually have a game tomorrow to talk about. Logan Gillespie is going to be the starter, which doesn't, it means something, but it doesn't mean anything, I guess. And I don't expect to see many of the big dogs play. So I don't know that we're going to be seeing Fernando. I don't know how much we're going to be seeing of those guys tomorrow, at least. And I don't know how much we're going to be seeing of the big money pitchers, Pivetta, Musgrove, and Michael King. I don't know how much we're going to see him either. But anyway, we will have a game tomorrow. It will be broadcast on the station starting at 12:10. So that is a very welcome thing in everybody's lives because it has been, during baseball season, I don't have to think about what I'm going to do when I go home because I just know there's probably a Padres game on and I want to get back to that. I just want to know that I can get home, I can turn on the TV and baseball is on every single night and we are almost there. Now, the Padres and their top prospect, Ethan Salas. A couple years ago, Ethan Salas was can't miss prospect. He was 16. He was tearing the cover off the ball. He's struggled with some injury. I also think that playing catcher is really difficult and it takes a little bit longer to develop. But I don't expect, and I've even seen people saying he should be playing this year in the big leagues. I don't think he's going to play in the big leagues this year. I just don't get that feeling around him. I'd much rather him come up and be ready to go than to be thrown to the wolves. And he's still young. He still has plenty of years ahead. So there is no urgency to rush this through, but obviously he's going to be looked at here in spring training. And last year he had some good stuff. He had some good moments. He had a couple good hits, and I know I'm minimalizing it, but there's limited at bats in spring training, and he did okay. But here is what Craig Stammen, the Padres manager, here's his expectations for Salas during spring training.
Yeah, at the moment he's full go, so he's going to get playing time just like any of the other catchers. Probably not quite as much as Freddie and Campy and Duran and Hunt, but he'll get in there, get some action. First time in a while for him. I know he's excited about it. Probably not going to catch him 9 innings in the first time he gets out there, but we'll ease him into action just like we do everybody else, and then get him ready for the season.
How important is it for him, a catcher, really, just to get those reps, to get those game situations? I know I talked to him. He was working through a lot of mental reps last year, but just to be in that game setting and get that chance this spring.
Yeah, there's no better educator than experience, and the more innings that he can catch, the more at bats that he can have, the more he experiences and prepares him, to his eventual time in the big leagues.
All right, so that was Craig Stammen talking about Ethan Salas, and I don't know if you all feel the same way, but that does not sound like it doesn't sound like Ethan is going to be at the big league level this year. Joseph on the chat said it's just so hard or it was actually a different one. I think the earliest would be 2028, and that's if he is killing it in the minors. Salas is still he's still young. He needs to hone his skills, bring him along gradually, says Clay. I know we need a backup catcher, but I'm okay with Campy if he gets real playing time. Yeah, I agree with all of that. Trevor Fermin ain't young. You know what? I've never really thought about Freddie Fermin's age. Let's go see. He's 30. So, and he spent a lot of time behind Salvador Perez. So I think he probably has less miles on his body than you would think for a 30-year-old catcher. But I don't know why there is this rush to get Ethan Salas to the big league level. And Chris said something yesterday that I thought was pretty smart. So he should hopefully save this clip for him one day, because I just called him smart. But he said this. He said, everybody's complaining about Leo Dallas DeVries being traded to the A's for Mason Miller, which is going to turn out to be probably top 3 closer in baseball this year if everything goes according to plan. So everybody's very mad at that. The Padres now, at this point, can you imagine a situation where 3 years from now, DeVries is kind of, has back problems and things like that? People would be so angry that they didn't trade him. And I think the Padres got caught sleeping a little bit, if indeed they were using him in trade talks, because he was the number 1 prospect in baseball, no questions asked. The Padres could have determined what they wanted to happen with Ethan Salas, but they held on to him. They want to develop him. And I'm not saying he's not going to be a good catcher, because he's still young. He still has time. He still has a lot of time. And right now the catching position is okay. I know it's not something that makes people think they're going to win the World Series, but Freddie Fermin and Luis Campusano, at least I know Freddie Fermin is solid. We'll see what he does this year. We'll see how he's prepared all offseason. So I think that is okay, but I don't know that we need to just throw Ethan Salas into the big league level and just see what he can do. He needs to be ready. I do think that. And so you're thinking about trading prospects and you're thinking about who the Padres have. Okay, they have a guy like Ethan Salas, but now you can't trade him for the same amount or the same package you would get 2 years ago. So that's the danger of holding on to prospects. It's the danger of everything, because you don't know what a prospect is going to do. We say this all the time. DeVries might be great, but we're not going to see him at the big league level for 3 or 4 years. And who knows if he's going to be great. So fast forward 20 years. Are we still going to be talking about the DeVries trade? Well, if DeVries goes on to win MVPs and all that stuff, yeah, we'll probably be talking about it. But if Mason Miller leads the league in saves this year, and then the Padres still have him until 2029, I feel like I think that's going to be an okay trade. But be careful what you wish for. because things don't always go the right way. And that's the scary part about prospect hugging, is you just have no idea, especially us fans. We may have some indications on who's good. We may have some indications on who could help the team in the future, but really, we don't know much unless we're inside the organization or one of the reporters that gets access and can talk to coaches and things like that. We just don't know. And I'd much rather trade away a prospect for a great player like Mason Miller than hang on and see what happens, because prospects are prospects. I used to be a big time prospect hugger, and it's kind of misleading when I say that, because I remember when Mookie Betts was on the table to be traded by the Red Sox. I remember us talking about whether or not the Padres should trade all their prospects for Mookie Betts. And I believe at the time, Mookie Betts was like a rental contract. So my thought was, no, why would you trade all of your prospects for, a great player like Mookie Betts? But why are you going to trade all of your prospects for a rental contract they're going to have to extend him? Padres probably wouldn't have had the money to extend him. So it's case by case for me, but I will always take a great player right now, especially at where the Padres are at. The Padres were maybe 2 years behind in development. Yeah, I would always take a great player to help them win and get to the World Series and make the playoffs and win 90 games. Winning is now. The window is now. Clay said we had plenty of prospects that didn't pan out. Some did, but not early. Most matured and then had more success. That is true. Trevor says Fermin is solid. Right on, Skraby. Thank you, Trevor. We had a bunch of, we had a conversation earlier about German Marquez and the new additions. And that's another thing, is like the 40-man roster is going to fill up. And so you just can't keep bringing in guys. I know the Dodgers can, but it's just a strange position to be in, because I know that some people are very angry about prospects being traded or not being traded, but look at the track record and I think you'll feel a little bit better. All right. Matt Skraby, The Skraby Show, 97.3, The Fan. I do want to talk a little bit about German Marquez on the other side, because he spoke with the media this morning and he made one thing very clear. He wants to win. He definitely wants to win. Also, I should have mentioned Team USA men's hockey last night. New York Mike 8 on chat, he was telling me you should mention them, and I should have, and I completely forgot. But congratulations to our men, and congratulations to our women who won the gold medal today. If you missed that, and spoiler alert, if you missed that, you need to see the final goal. It was awesome. The move was like the move that she made was so subtle but awesome at the same time. I'm not a hockey guy, so I could watch that play over and over and over again. But I should congratulate the men, and they're playing Slovakia, I think, tomorrow. So we'll keep you up to date on that. Also, in Australia, there is a sports TV person, and she may have had a little bit too much fun before she did her sports reporting. So we'll play that audio at the end. And also we have the daily gripe as well. So when we get back, we're going to hear from German Marquez. We're going to hear what he had to say about his time with the Rockies, and we'll talk about it a little bit here on the Skraby Show.
What can ADP do? To sell bouquets, pizza shops can ask, how do we stuff a calzone into a pizza crust? And pool cleaners can ask, what is that thing in the filter? These are the questions you can focus on when ADP takes care of the business of your small business. ADP for small business.
Hey, San Diego, it's Woodsy here. The celebration is just getting started at Sedano Ford in Lincoln because the President's Day sale is officially extended. As our premier local veteran-owned dealer, Manny Sedano is making history by proving you don't need a massive down payment to drive a Premier Ford. We are putting you in the driver's seat of a brand new ride, just $1 down. Manny and his team are making it happen for San Diego with these aggressive monthly specials, all available, again, just $1 down. The 2025 Ford Mustang EcoBoost Fastback, pure iconic, so just $353 a month. The 2025 Ford Bronco Sport Big Ben, Adventure Ready, and Trail Proven, just $372 a month. The 2025 Ford F-150 STX, built Ford tough with legendary power, just $439 a month. And if you want luxury that's affordable, lease a Lincoln Corsair Hybrid for just $417 a month. Manny Sedano is San Diego's premier veteran-owned dealer. President's Day sale is officially extended. For more details about all of these offers, stop by the dealership in La Mesa or head on over to SedanoFord.com.
What's up, San Diego? Look, just because I'm a seagull doesn't actually mean I like picking up all those food scraps you guys leave everywhere. Here's an idea. Instead of putting all those food scraps in the trash, put them where they belong, in the green bin. Yep, the same bin you put the leaves and yard trimmings in. Easy. Let's do this, people, or else I am a seagull and I know which car is yours. Stay scrappy, San Diego. Use the green bin. This spot funded by Cal Recycling.
Hot Tub. Manufacturers and warehouse of new 2026 inventory. Friday through Sunday. Mission Valley Mall. Over 100 hot tubs on display and everything must go. New 2026 inventory. Hot tubs starting at $29.95. All inventory 40 to 80% off. See the revolutionary swim spa in action and save up to 60%. Trade-ins welcome. Free delivery. We'll even haul away your old hot tub. Worry-free installation. 18-month interest-free financing. Millions of dollars of inventory must be sold. Mission Valley Mall in the Big White Tent. Free admission. Free parking. Call 833-SPA-SALE.
Welcome to guided meditation. Close your eyes. You're at the beach. The seagulls are calling. You take out your iPhone 16e you got from Cricket and use Apple Intelligence to clean up that selfie you just took. It's a good one. You send it to your friends instantly thanks to reliable nationwide 5G. They're totally jealous. Get iPhone 16e for $49.99 when you switch. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Requires new line on the Supreme Unlimited plan. First service charge and tax due at sale. $25 activation fee. Terms and restrictions apply. Cricket 5G is not available everywhere. See store for details.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back-end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's easy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code FRESH to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
Matt Skraby broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios. We know how. A couple weeks ago, before the Olympics started, I brought you the new sport that they were going to be introducing. It's called ski mountaineering. I was very excited about it. I thought it looked cool. Well, I watched it, and it wasn't as cool as I thought. It wasn't as cool as I thought. I'm a little disappointed with it. But the one thing I will say is these ski mountaineering athletes are just incredible because they have to like run up on skis, run up this like really steep hill and go around these objects, and they have to take off their skis, they have to put them on their back, they have to get on stairs, they have to put the skis back on the other side, go down the hill. And I thought it was going to be cool because it was like a 3-minute race, and it wasn't as cool as I thought. I really like the like snow cross. I thought it was going to be something like that, where you have snowboards that race down a hill, four racers usually. I thought it was going to be like that, but it wasn't. But the Swiss Marianne, I'm not even going to try her last name, Faton, she wins the gold in it. But I was just thinking, like, who wants to run uphill on skis? It just doesn't sound possible, and it doesn't sound fun. I was talking to Chris before he left. I said, Chris, are you a big skier? And he's like, no, I didn't really ski. I definitely skied growing up, and skiing is not easy. So I am impressed with these people. And also, I think it's really, I don't know, and then I'll move on from this, but I don't know if people notice, but when they are on the podium, the organizers give them a phone to do a selfie. And that's a lot of pressure on the person who has to take the selfie, because I am not good at taking the selfie, like, putting your arm out in the air and then reaching and trying to take a picture. It's just a lot of pressure. A lot of pressure. Jack says, I have curling fatigue. I'm kind of with you. Like, it seems like some sports, they have 2 days during the Olympics. And then they have some sports that are like the entire Olympics, and curling is one of those sports. I don't know why they need so much curling. Like, it should just be the top, I don't know. I'm just making stuff up at this point. Top 12 teams in the world get to play over like a week period, but it's been a 2-week period. Ugh. Although I do enjoy curling once a year. And I did look into a curling center. I'm just not sure how our schedule is going to work with Tony doing baseball season now, but I'm not going to give up on that because I do kind of want to try curling. I want to see if I would be, or how bad I would be at it, because I cannot walk on ice. I can tell you that. And these people slide and run and walk on us. Anyway, those are the thoughts about the Winter Olympics that you did not want, but I gave you anyway. Let's go to the Padres. Germán Marquez pitched his entire career with the Rockies, and he had statistically a bad season last year and the year before, but he was coming off of Tommy John surgery. And I feel like this is a good lesson for people who don't pay attention to other organizations, but sometimes there's pressure for these guys to get back. And so they asked him if he, let me just get it complete. Yes, he asked if the Rockies rushed him back.
Yeah, I feel like it was a little quick. It was a little rush. And, I didn't get that time to, get ready. I mean, I felt good, but like, I felt it was rushing a little bit. That's why I get set back and, battling with my injury.
What is different this offseason and now for you health-wise?
I mean, I work hard, to get a job and, show that I'm healthy and I'm going to be healthy the whole year.
Did you talk to Bob Black before you signed?
Yeah, we were in touch. We were talking, and yes.
What did he tell you about San Diego specifically? He has obviously a lot of experience here too.
Yeah, we talk about the staff, the pitching coach, that he knows he was a pitcher and he knows that it is good staff.
All right, so that was Germán Marquez talking to the media this morning, and Number one, I'm always impressed when these players do their interviews in English without a translator, because I'm trying to learn Spanish right now and it is not easy. So my hat's off to everybody who is able to learn a different language. And I will never make fun of someone for not speaking a good enough second language. But you could kind of see what I wanted to point out here is that some organizations will take care of you, and some organizations will just rush you back. And you could kind of tell which organizations those are. I mean, the Rockies are not a great run organization, and you can kind of see it in his face that it did affect him. Like, his numbers were not great because of he had to work through a Tommy John injury at the big league level, which is not easy. It's not easy at all. And I really do. I was so surprised to know that I guess he's going to be 31 here in 3 days. But I am very surprised that he's only 31. It seems like he's been pitching forever, and that's really because he has 10 years in the big leagues. He started 200 games in the big leagues. That's good. That's some good stuff. 2018, I know that was a long time ago. 2018 was probably his best year. He had a 3.77 ERA, and keep in mind he's pitching at Coors Field, 196 innings, and he struck out 230 batters. So there's 5 seasons in his career where he struck out over 100 batters, and there's 4 seasons in his career where he struck out over 150 batters, or 150 or more batters. It surprises me that so many teams weren't willing to give him the $1.75 million that the Padres did. But I think that is a good investment, and see if it works, because you're getting a guy who has 10 years of big league pitching experience. Granted, yes, he hasn't had the greatest years. And so these are not, I wouldn't say, I guess you could say he's a reclamation project. But these are sometimes the projects that work for the Padres and work for AJ Preller. But Trevor says he can shove, as Tony so well put it. He doesn't throw cookies. He doesn't. He's a good pitcher. He has been really good. So this could turn into something where the Padres get a steal. Now, do I think it's going to be that easy? No, of course not. It's not going to be that easy. But so the one thing that tells me that they are high on Marquez is that he's already on the 40-man roster, and a guy like Walker Buehler signed a minor league deal. So with Marquez on the 40-man roster, that means that it tells me they're leaning towards, as long as everything goes well, they're leaning towards him being on the opening day roster. So I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. And you just got to go into this hoping that maybe the terrible Rockies organization ruined him, and maybe pitching at sea level is going to be much better for him. Again, I'm not going to say that he's going to take the team to a World Series, but I am going to say that he has the ability and opportunity to make a huge impact on this team this year. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do. I mean, 10 years in Colorado just sounds depressing. He said in a quote, and I don't have the quote with me, but he said earlier today that he wants to be on a team that wins, and he wants to be on a team that kind of tries. You can kind of see it in his face. He said he was playing on some good teams early in his career, but then lately it's just been awful. So maybe a new scene, less depressing team and teammates is the remedy that he needs. Jack says 10 years as a Rocky would drive most to drink. Yeah, that would be tough, being a Rocky for 10 years. Didi says should be an interesting roster. It will be an interesting roster. You kind of got all the names that of guys that have been thrown away a little bit. You have it's not the Bad News Bears. What is it? You have the replacements kind of. And that fits well with what the Padres do. The Padres don't want to be the team that's hunted. They want to be the team hunting. So with a bunch of guys like this, and not to mention that this over the season, we could see all of these guys. We might see some Marquez in the beginning of the season, and then maybe we see Walker Buehler in the middle of the season. I'm just making it up as I go right here, but you know what I'm saying. Like there could be different stretches during the season where some of these guys step up and have to take a bigger role, and Marquez is definitely one of those guys. You already have the first three pitchers are set: Joe Musgrove, Nick Pivetta, and Michael King. And no matter how many times I say those three names, I am always going to forget the first name. And then once I get the first name, I can get going. But I'm excited for this. Clay says 10 years as a pitcher in Coors would make you want to go anywhere. Yeah, I would not want to pitch there if I was Mr. Marquez. I was never a good pitcher. I was never a pitcher. My arm is not the greatest. I had surgery on my shoulder, so it's definitely not the greatest. Yeah, they don't need me. I was gonna say put me in there, but they don't need me. All right. Let's go to break. When we get back here on the Skraby Show, we have this Australian sports reporter who was having a lot of fun on TV. So we'll talk about that. Also, we'll talk about we'll briefly talk about whether or not NBC is putting too much pressure on Olympic athletes. That's all next. Final segment of the Skraby Show for this week. Obviously back next week, but we will have games to talk about. Can anybody tell I'm excited that we're going to have games to talk about? I don't have to talk about fake stuff, like just trying to predict what happens. It's much easier when you can talk about what happens during the game than it is to predict what's going to happen during the game, because I'm not good at that. Matt Skraby, Skraby Show, 97.3, The Fan. Now, I have a daily gripe. Has something to do with work. Has something to do with something that's happening in this building. So I need to let everybody know about that. But we'll do that at the end of the show. We're going to talk about this Australian sports broadcaster and what happened to her, what she did on TV. I have both the videos, so we'll be able to hear it and watch it. But now we're going to talk about something we did talk about during Gwyn and Chris in the Big Five, which is the quad god. I should know his name by now. Ilya Malinin, I believe. I'm probably mispronouncing it, but he had a pretty stunning defeat. He was supposed to win the gold. He fell twice. He did not. I believe he came in 8th. And so it was a major disappointment. A major disappointment for everyone involved. And he said after the event, quote, "I think all of this pressure, all of the media and being the Olympic gold hopeful was too much," end quote. And you know what I'll say about him? He's 21 years old, and it seems like he understands what's going on here. It seems like he understands that it was not because of the media. It was because he didn't skate well enough. He kind of said that. So I'm cool with his comments here, because it probably is a ton of pressure. I can't imagine, because I've never been at that level, but it probably is a ton of pressure. Being a guy who's featured on all the commercials, being a guy who's interviewed all the time. Well, here's reporters asked NBC Olympics president Gary Zankel if the way NBC promotes the games puts too much pressure on the athletes. And what I'm going to say is I don't think so. I don't even know why this is being asked. Does NBC put too much pressure on the athletes? Here's one thing I've realized over the years. You can, and this isn't even about the quad god, but I don't even want to go in that direction. I was going to go in a direction that may have, gotten me in trouble. But what I want to say is this is not new. This has been going on for a very long time. And yes, social media is a completely different beast. And I completely understand why you would feel overwhelmed, because you get it from all directions. You're getting it on your Instagram, you're getting it on Twitter, you're getting it, I'm sure, just stupid people messaging him saying that, he should die because he fell, most likely because they bet on it. But I cannot say there's a certain thing that I've always thought, and it's you can't have your cake and eat it too. I wasn't planning on saying that, but it just came to me. You can't figure skate at the highest level, but not want the media coverage. I'm sorry. It just can't happen, because you're one of the best in the world at your sport. So people are going to talk to you. You're supposed to win the gold medal. And I'm kind of linking him to this, but I don't think that he did anything wrong here. I think the reporters asking the question is where we're going wrong, because it's not, it's really, the president, Gary Zankel, went on to say, hey, we've been doing this for a long time, but Michael Phelps was our biggest athlete for 5 Olympics. He did everything with the media, and he still won 23 gold medals. Now, is Michael Phelps on a different level? Probably. I mean, he's done things that no swimmer has ever done before. But he still did it. And I also think maybe the quad god, he's a little young. He's 21. It would be hard to take. This is the first time you're on the world stage. But I do see some people being like, well, why do they need to interview him after? And why do they do this? And why do they do that? Because you're the best skater in the world. That's why you can't be a professional baseball player and not talk to the media. That's actually against the rules of Major League Baseball. You can't in the NFL. You're supposed to be available at your locker after every game. It's just part of the job. Now, if you don't like that part of the job, then quit or get out if you don't like it. You know, there was a long time here in radio when I first started, like years and years and years ago, where I would say something and then I would get a message from someone trashing my opinion or trashing me, and I would take it really hard. And I'd be like, these people don't know what they're talking about, and get mad, and I would, probably internalize it a little bit too much. And then someone in the radio industry said, hey, you can't have it both ways. You either accept the fact that some people are going to be mean to you, or you get out. And that's just what I can't do this job and expect everyone to treat me nice. It's just not part of it. A lot of people do treat me nice. Majority treat me nice. 99.9% of people treat me nice. But I had to make the decision. Do I care what people say about me online, or do I care about my job? And I cared about my job. Brandon says, you bring up like he's 21. He never got to enjoy life from a normal aspect. He had to grow up fast because of how good he is. I don't disagree with that. I know his parents were big-time figure skaters, so he has the pedigree for it. And I'm sure that he's started when he was really young. And he did have to go through a childhood without, I'm sure he had to go through things that we went through, or he didn't have to go through, I'm sorry. Like things at school, being bullied, things of that nature. I don't know. Being a figure skater as a man growing up might be hard for some kids, but when you're the best in the world, it's okay. Bottom line is, I don't think that this is NBC's fault that they're being promoted, and that's why sometimes they don't live up to the promotion. That's sports. That's what happens in sports. Sometimes the thing that you thought was going to happen doesn't happen. Jack says, real life Jimmy McElroy from Blades of Glory. I have to say, it's a pretty good call. He looks like John Hader? It looks like it's not John Hader. Napoleon Dynamite. I can't remember his name right now. But the guy who played Napoleon Dynamite definitely looks like the Quad God. So anyway, thank you for letting me vent and rant. And again, the Quad God never said any of this. This was the reporters. And as Tony likes to say all the time, us, the public likes to make situations that aren't a big deal. All right. Let's go to this Australian sports reporter. I'm going to put it up on the screen because it is, you have to hear it, obviously, but you also have to see it. So if you want to go to the Skraby Show YouTube, you can just type in the Skraby Show, and we're going to like 47 minutes in or something. But this is Danica Mason, and she's one of the most popular sports reporters in Australia. So I'm going to play her video, and then we'll talk about it after.
Like literally, the price of coffee over here is actually fine. It's more the price of coffee in the US that we are going to have to get used to. I'm not sure about the iguanas. Where are we going with that one? But anyway, the 41-year-old revealing that while she has the massive journey ahead for her, she's grateful for all the support going her way. And it's absolutely incredible to see, honestly, to see the amount of support that she has is
they're just letting her go too.
And the journey ahead, it is remarkable, but also true. The fact that we've got so many athletes who are willing to compete as well after her as well.
Big breath.
She is just one of those athletes that you keep in their mind and you just look at them and go, what an inspiration.
No, I agree.
She has a long road ahead of her.
I agree with you completely, Danica. Look, the cold weather is a thing, right?
Can freeze
I remember
your
being in
face.
Washington, D.C. a few years ago, And Ellie, you
Anyway, it goes on for a little bit more. They were really making fun of her, but he was basically saying that like the lips froze, and so that's why she was having trouble talking. So she was obviously very, very intoxicated in that whole thing. And as an alcoholic or recovering alcoholic, it makes me crawl out of my skin because I can't even imagine the realization the next day after you do this. And I'm not saying she's an alcoholic or anything, but that is crazy. Like to go on TV like that. And here is the next day from Danica.
And guys, just before we do go, I just want to take a moment, if that's okay, just to apologize. I also wanted to say thank you for everyone who has reached out. I'm okay, probably just a little bit embarrassed. Look, I totally misjudged a situation. I shouldn't have had a drink, and especially in these conditions, it's cold, we've got altitude, and not having had dinner probably didn't help as well. But I want to take full responsibility. It's not the standard that I set for myself. So in saying that, I am genuinely really sorry. And I'm thanking everyone for those messages that I have received as well. I can turn our attention back.
All right, so there you go. She had to apologize. Now, it was nice of her to apologize. She took all the blame for it. She said it was her fault. So I'm not going to judge her going forward, but I do think it's hilarious. And she did say that she was embarrassed. I can't even imagine the messages that she got. Joseph says producers probably told her to apologize. I don't know that they told her that. I feel like she wanted to do that. Because if I don't drink anymore, but if I was drunk on the air, well, that would be a whole different problem. But I would want to apologize the next day. I do think it's funny that the people in the studio were trying to get her get out of jail free card and be like, yeah, it's actually really cold and it's hard to move your lips when it's cold. That would be hilarious. Brandon, if I show up to work blitzed, I get fired. Meanwhile, she gets to come back and do an apology tour. I think that's a case-by-case basis. Some jobs you can, some jobs you can't. And apparently her job you can. But I bet you she had a talk with the boss. And the boss was like, hey, happened once, cannot happen again. And the way she sounded in her apology, I think that she got the message. Someone said, apologize for nothing. I do think she didn't need to apologize. She didn't say anything crazy. She was just drunk and having fun. But at the same time, thinking about myself, I would want to apologize. I'm the guy who brings up the thing that I think everybody's thinking about, even though no one's thinking about it. And so when I bring it up, it somehow like releases me. And so now I'm able to, go along with my day. But if I walk into a room or something and I think people are thinking, oh man, he was so drunk last night, I'm going to bring it up right away. So Trevor says, never happened, but if no evidence, I would be sent home. And Dominic says something very, very astute. She was right about the price of coffee, though. That she was.
What's annoying Skraby today? Let's find out. It's time for the Daily Gripe.
Joseph's people in the studio were very professional. Can you imagine if that happened with Tony and Chris? Can you imagine? I think they would probably play those clips forever and ever and ever and ever. All right. Here is the Daily Gripe for today. And Jax, that is gross. There is a vending machine here at work, and it's been a thing over the years. I mean, I think maybe 4 or 5 years ago during COVID, the vending machine had buttons that would give you the wrong thing. And so it was a whole deal. But now we got a new vending machine in. It was here for like 2 weeks. They take out the vending machine and they bring in an old but new to our building vending machine. It looks like something that a vending machine you find in like a gym from 1992. But I was, I don't drink soda very often. Actually, I drink soda maybe once a week, if that, maybe once every 2 weeks. So I was thinking, you know what? I want a soda right now. I don't know why it sounds good, but it sounds good. I'm going to go and get me a soda. Go over there. And it's still broken. It hasn't been set up yet. What's the point of bringing in a vending machine if it hasn't been set up yet? It's been sitting here for like 2 weeks. It's been sitting here for like 2 weeks. And so there's a big sign on it that says, not set up yet or something. It's not in service or something like that. What are they waiting for? I know that one of the guys in the sales department told me that he put in $5 and it ate his $5. Ate his $5. Pop of choice. If I'm going to drink something, it's really not Coca-Cola. I don't like the feeling of Coca-Cola after you drink it on your teeth. It just makes me feel weird. I would say I go Sprite. I'm a Sprite guy. But I really, as a kid growing up, I never really did soda either. It's very strange for a guy who drank a lot of alcohol and was a recovering alcoholic. I sure did not drink soda. But I know that people love soda. Like Chris loves soda. Dominic says he put $5 into a machine that said it wasn't set up. No. It was, the sign wasn't there yet. So he did get duped a little bit, but no one really knew about the machine yet. But $5, that would be really annoying. If you put it in there and nothing happens, that'd be very annoying. Dr. Pepper and Mountain Dew Baja Blast is the GOAT of sodas. Dr. Pepper's okay. Mountain Dew Baja Blast, I don't know if I've ever had that before, but I don't really think I'm a Baja Blast type of person. Maybe I am. Maybe I need to get it one day. All right. Thank you for sticking with me. Appreciate all of you. We will be back to Padres season tomorrow. We will have baseball to talk about going forward. Chris and I are going to take over right after the game. Then we're going to talk to Sam Levitt and also Tony Gwynn Jr. Once he's done with the game, he's going to head back home. He's going to join us as well. So we have tomorrow all set up. Thank you, everyone, for joining me this week. I will talk to you all tomorrow.